Well, can you hear me? Okay. So, first of all, I would like to apologize with you if my slides will be not very good, because I have a valid excuse. I am a yellow t-shirt, so I'm involved in the organization, and I had no time, not the time that I want to prepare my speech. But by the way, something would be fine during my speech. Well, uh, Bokeh, as you can as you can imagine, is a library to plot graphs and interact with data that you plotted with Python. In this speech, in this talk, I will introduce what is Bokeh, why I choose Bokeh to visualize my data during my job, some basic concept about basic data visualization, ColumnDataSource, that is the main data structure that can be used in Bokeh to extend and customize the charts. And also other tools for customized charts like JavaScript callbacks, widgets, tooltips, and so on. A way to embed charts in dashboards or web application, auto mapping Geo Data, some example about Bokeh Server, and some additional feature that you can use with Bokeh and other third-party software. Well, Bokeh in photography is an image effort that makes photo visually appealing. That forcing us to our attention on a particular area of the image. So the word comes from Japanese language that literally translates as blur. But Bokeh this is the Bokeh effect, okay? So Bokeh is a database library, not unlike Matplotlib, ggplot2, or D3JS, but as D3 works on the web page or web application, also Bokeh can work on Jupyter notebooks or standalone data visualization files or web application. And there's a strong ties to data science and data integration or data streaming using the Bokeh Server I mentioned in the agenda, but we will see this stuff later on. Well, Bokeh is offer both simplicity to wonderful and flexible feature. For instance, you can use Bokeh to expose some standard graphs like box plots, line charts, column charts or V-bar and scatter plots, but you can use also a low-level interface to provide most flexibility to your application. For instance, you can add widgets on your charts. You can add some form to select the data and then use this form to switch visualization on the chart according to the selected data sources. Well, why I choose Bokeh for during my job is because, okay, naturally because it's in Python, but there is a full coverage interface in R, and there are some porting library in Lua and Julia that produce some serializable object that can then send to the browsers. The next one is because Bokeh can work with small datasets, but also with medium and large datasets. With medium dataset, you are able to visualize medium dataset with only Bokeh, but using other instruments like DataShader, you can also plot 1,000 or k-1,000 points on each graph, and then drill down the data simply using the mouse or the keyboard. The third, sorry, is that you you can use the Bokeh Server component to stream data in real time using WebSockets. So once the Bokeh server is running and then you use WebSocket to push data, you can feed the charts real time using these components. So imagine that you are trying to produce some dashboard web and then you want to feed the data in real time. You can use Bokeh Server and, for instance, Flask or Django to create your front-end visualization. Well, I try to show you how Bokeh works for real, so using notebooks and links in the slide. I hope this works as a common one. Then here, okay. So a simple plot. To plot data, you can naturally import from the plotting module of Bokeh the figure, the output notebook to show the charts within the notebook you are using now, and then should show the show function to show naturally the plot within the cell. So once the Bokeh is successfully loaded, you can prepare the data. These are silly data, okay? X and Y. I created figure where the plot will be rendered, and then when I plot the line using the X and Y, I produce this one, okay? This one is interactive. You can use the wheel to zoom. You can save your chart in PNG or reset data. Okay? Well, we can also use other features. For instance, we can prepare other silly data and then customize tools. In this case, I am using pan, box, zoom, reset, save, and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to render the y-axis as a logarithm axis. And here I have a multi-series chart with log y axis, and the legend on top of the right of the chart. Well, this is naturally interactive. And with some simple customization, you can make the legend interactive. So if you want to switch off a series in order to, I don't know, I don't want to show the logger, what is it? Oh, okay, the PO or the other function. I can use the click policy hide on the legend, and then when I click on the series on the legend, I can switch off my series. Okay. I can also use the grid plot. So I would like to render multiple plots using grid. So I just use this component, this grid plot, and pass the list. And this is the effect. This is another effect with linked charts. So I can use a grid plot with linked charts. This means that all the charts are connected. Okay? And here, another feature is that the two charts are connected, but there is a pan between the two plots. So if I select this scene, I can show the selected part in the cosine in the other chart. Okay, this is just an example. Here, I don't remember what I write here, but okay. Okay, yeah. In this case, there's more or less the same one of the previous, and here selected this part. I select this is the iris dataset. It's a stupid dataset. You can use it as demo data in data science stuff. Well, command F1. Yeah. Well, so as you can, as I can show in the previous notebook, I used the column data source. The column data source is an object where the data, you can feed the data, the plot of Bokeh. You can feed the column data source with standard Python dictionaries, pandas data frames, lists, or NumPy arrays. But using column data sources permit you to extend the feature and the interactivity of your data. For instance, if you want to create a widget or a tooltip on your series or on your bullet on the chart, you can extend your data with, for instance, the message you want to show on the tooltip when you pass with mouse on the series. This is an example. Okay, so when I where's the mouse? Well, when your mouse is over the point, you can show some details of its point. So the X and Y coordinates, the color, stuff like that. Or you can embed within the Python code of the Bokeh chart also a widget. A widget in this case is a slider to increase or decrease the pole of the line I plotted it. Okay. Another notebook. Same stuff. Okay. Here I extend my column data source that is composed by two lists, X and Y, and the description. The description is the label you would like to show when you move the mouse on the chart. And then I create an overtool where I describe a list of tuple with description and X and Y and the index of the data. Then I instantiate a figure, and then I plot my chart, and this is the result. Okay, so when I pass on the data, I retrieve the information A, B, C, D, E, and the other stuff I declare in the overtool. I can also extend the overtool. For instance, if I want to populate my popover with HTML, and then I can render images within the overtool. So I create a list of image, a list of fonts, and then here my overtool is a div each time I pass the mouse on the chart. So this is the results. Okay. So this is the same plot, but with the extended popover tool. Now I can create with Bokeh also some widgets, for instance, buttons that can interact with my charts, sliders, and in this case, tabs, so I can switch between charts in the same figure with two pans, custom JS callbacks. So in this case, I create a new object, custom JS, with a simple matpro function in JavaScript, and then I create a slider, and then I applied JS on change on slider in order to this one. Sounds good. Okay. This is another one, but I extend the callback with this lasso tool. Lasso tool in the toolbox. So I select here, and then in the blank chart on the right, I render only the point I selected with the lasso tool in the left one. Okay. Go ahead with the presentation. How many time I have? Half an hour. Okay. Okay. Have you have I don't know the necessity to integrate data visualization within web application? Okay, fantastic. Bokeh give us the possibility to integrate in an easy way the charts within HTML or web application, standard web application app. Oh, standard web application, yeah. So Bokeh provides HTML files or components. HTML files means that with the file HTML function, I can render the HTML produced that you see in the notebook within a variable that so I can use in my Python web app or in my JavaScript web app, or a components module that permit us to serialize the object and then use these two components to integrate the charts in the web page. But it's more simple to see than to explain. So another notebook. Okay. I import figure as a standard, the plot, okay? And then I import the file HTML. And I pass the plot, that is my figure, and the CDN. CDN means that I would like to import from the CDN all the JavaScript library needed to render in a proper way my charts in my HTML page. So these produce HTML code. So in my HTML variable, there is link, rel, style sheet, blah, 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 okay? And the example is, I use this instrument to plot HTML file within the Jupyter Notebook. So, but if you save this variable in a HTML file and then double click, you can open the interactive chart with a normal browser. Huh. Shame on me. Okay, you know. So this is the chart. These are the top points. 1, 2, 6, 4. I instantiate in the first cell. The components is excuse me, is the module I use when I want to import my my charts. So in this case, I import from embed module of Bokeh the component stuff, and then this is the results. In the scripts variable, there is the whole JSON of the whole JavaScript that you have to embed on your web page, and in the div variable, there is the div where the chart will be rendered in your HTML page. So imagine you have to produce a RESTful API to generate charts. In this way, you can write your charts and then return a serialized object, a tuple in this case, of div and JavaScript, and then you can include by linking by the ID on the JavaScript your charts. There are some stuff to how to load scripts. For instance, if you want to import from CDN, you can just use the JS and the tag. This script produce a directory on your local path, and then you can just include this stuff on your page to generate the chart. Well, come back to the presentation. So this is an example of a Flask application with Bokeh embedded. So this is a web browser, and this is HTML form. And then when I switch to the several subset of the iris dataset, I can change my visualization on the Bokeh components within the web page, just passing in this case, impose my parameters in the URL. You can map in Geo Data with Bokeh in a, this is more or less in beta for now, but the guys under the project are increasing the feature. You simply can use the Mercator projection to plot data on a map, or just using Google Maps to plot a standard lat-long coordinate on your map. And this is an example, a very quick example. Okay, I'm importing the Gmap component, so I have to get an API key from the API of Google, and then I plot three simple lat-long on my map, and this is the result. Okay, this is, yeah, there is more or less a log, but it seems works. Okay, so there is a glyph of Bokeh on top of a layer of Google Map. And I can also pass a GeoJSON directly as a geo source of the data of the circle I would like to plot on the map. And this is the result. So I pass my GeoJSON and I plot this GeoJSON on UK, in this case, using the same ground level of the Google Maps. Next one, Bokeh Server. Okay, Bokeh Server is a component that permits you to stream data, to interact with several documents, and plot and apps for handling streaming or large data set, or for instance, if you want to produce sophisticated application internally in Bokeh. This is the schema. Okay, you have your app code running in Bokeh Server that produce document for each app, and it is synced with each browser request the Bokeh Server will receive. It's quite simple. It's quite difficult to explain, but I have an example also for this. Maybe. Okay. Okay, if I run Bokeh serve minus my spot, whatever, and I would like to show the code I wrote on selectionhistogram.py. This is a complex example of a Bokeh app, okay, that need to be run with the Bokeh server. So if I'm lucky, okay. So this is a okay. This is a Bokeh chart here with some related chart here. An example of a cross-filter visualization. So if I use the lasso here, I can select my data here, and then the central chart is linked with this one. So this selection, this app, produce some document sent to Bokeh server, and Bokeh server render the other document and the other data in the bottom and in the right related chart. Another fun example is you can find on the Bokeh repo a lot of examples you can try to run. I just cloned the repo for this speech, so I go to spectrogram. Okay, so Bokeh show spectrogram. Okay, now my PC is recognizing my voice on the microphone of the PC. This is the spectra, okay, with the frequency and the tone. So I can increase the gain and then you can see difference. So I can decrease the frequency. Okay. This is JavaScript and WebSockets, but the 90% of code is Python. Okay. For instance, if I have time, I would like. Okay, this is the previous example, the histogram selector. Okay, this is Python. Okay, this is Python code. So I wrote only Python code without any line of JavaScript, but the rendered chart is completely in JavaScript because behind of Bokeh there is the Bokeh JS server that transform all the Python code in a web readable stuff. Okay. So it's just a recap. Bokeh works as an engine for dynamic plotting. As you can see, produce JSON to produce visualization. So you can consume JSON to produce data visualization. And with Bokeh Server, you can feed data with WebSockets to send and to get updates from and by the chart. Because the interaction is bidirectional, so you can send data and then get data when you interact with the mouse, for instance, on the series, rather on the chart. Is not actually in JS, but the development stuff is converting in TypeScript from CoffeeScript to TypeScript. And Bokeh has additional feature. For example, you can integrate Bokeh with DataShader. DataShader is a tool that permits you to plot millions of points on a raster or on a geospatial map. This is, for instance, the electric network of the USA. Okay, the whole data, and it is rendered by Bokeh and DataShader. You can produce nice dashboard with Dask. Dask is another Python tool for parallel calculus and for data streaming. And all of you just to use data with images or stuff like that. It's just a GIF. Okay, and I don't know. I said to you that I don't know if if I will be in time for the slide, but I am a yellow T-shirt. I have an excuse for that. Okay, sorry. I created a repo for the notebook I presented here today. You can check out the notebooks.
Thank you. Is there any question?
Is there any possibility to run like time series analysis? So you had a voice signal there and you can actually go into the white noise or anything. Is there any possibility to do time series in Bokeh for sure. Any interaction or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can plot any kind of visualization, time series, or I don't know. Also, I not mention, for instance, networks. You can plot also linked networks, complex networks using a porting of network X written in Python directly in Bokeh. you can plot the time series analysis, time series with also with the slider. But if I'm not sure, but this is time series. Yeah. You can use for sure. Yeah, you can, but you have to customize a lot your the low-level part of the bokeh models, but you can.
Okay, so can you also customize the protocol, so the WebSocket protocol, so the messages, the JSON pass between the server and the...
Yeah, you can extend the Bokeh.js module within the code, because there is a lot of Python code as code base of Bokeh, but there is the same code of JavaScript produced. So if you want to extend, there is also a nice documentation on how to extend the WebSocket part, the exchange message part, and stuff like that.
Any other questions?
Hi, thanks for the talk.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about the example of streaming data with WebSockets was using the Bokeh server, and I was thinking if it is possible to use, for example, if I already have a web application running Django or Flask, is it possible to stream data from that web application instead of using the Bokeh server?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's a native function in the sense that you can, for instance, use WebSocket in your web application, then send the data to an API of Bokeh that feeds the data on the server, and then have a callback from the server to the new page or the new chart on your page. I don't know if this was the question, but your question.
I mean, in the example, you were, as far as I can understand, you're using the Bokeh, you're running the Bokeh server that streams data to the client.
Yeah.
And what if I don't want to run another Bokeh server and I'm already running another web application?
You can. Okay, I understand. You have to customize the JavaScript part of Bokeh in order to send you your already running server, the data you need to feed the Bokeh chart on your server.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. If you want to have automatically feeded data within the Bokeh chart and Bokeh server, you have to use Bokeh and Bokeh server.
Okay, thanks.
Mandatory.
Okay.
So, any other question? No more questions. Thank you again.
Thank you.